Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 14 of our F1 2002 career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Japanese Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago from Singapore, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Just 3 rounds to go of the campaign and it is all still to play for between myself and Frentzen at the top of the table. We finally returned to the top step of the podium last weekend with a P1 there. Singapore, we just were comfortably quicker than Heinz Harald there. Had to chase him down throughout the second half of the GP, but yeah, took the victory late on and it did not look back. So hoping we can maintain that momentum through these next couple of races as well there. Take a look though at the overall championship picture. It is officially a 3-car battle now for the World Championship. We should probably knock Villeneuve out of it as well this weekend, constructors-wise as well. Williams still with a 48-point lead at the top of the table. As I've said before, I think if we can get to Brazil, still mathematically with a shot at the constructors, we should be pretty happy with that as well there. But of course, get yourself subscribed if you're new around here. We are trying to hit 140,000 subs on the channel. 3 rounds to go. I'm looking forward to this. Let's head to Japan. Well, a similar weather setup this weekend as we saw last time out. Then rain on Saturday here at Suzuka, but it is meant to dry up, ready for Sunday afternoon. So let's wait and see what kind of time we can get on the board there. That was a little bit optimistic in towards turn 1. Luckily, we will scrub the speed off though, and it won't compromise us too badly. We've got to try and get a good effort here this afternoon. You know, whether Frentzen will have to serve any grid penalties or not between now and the end of the year, I don't really know. But yeah, the important bit for us is that we get to Interlagos still with a mathematical shot at both World Championships here, because if we can do that, as we've seen before, anything can happen when you get to the season finale inside this game. This year, you know, these races, unless you Jacques Villeneuve, had been far less kind of about attrition and things like that. But yeah, Villeneuve seems to have struggled with as many mechanical failures and accidents as he did last year, which ultimately I think has cost him. But he's going to need a miracle if he wants to stay in the World Championship hunt in towards these last 3 GP. He basically just needs to win and pray that Frentzen and I come together in all 3 races there as well. A little bit wide down through Spoon, but luckily we'll gather it up. Racing here in this car has genuinely made me realise that, like we say with a lot of places, Suzuka, it really worked well with these lightweight, nimble cars of the early 2000s. Modern day Formula 1 cars do not work as well around this circuit, and well, it cannot be Suzuka's fault, because Suzuka is, you know, one of the best tracks in the whole world. So yeah, Formula 1 need to improve. Anyway, at the final corner, P3, honestly, I'm pretty happy. Well, Villeneuve just in control at the front of the order there, over half a second clear of Heinz Harald Frentzen. We will line up P3 just ahead of the Michael. Coulthard gets the jump on Jenson Button in the end. I thought, you know, again, this would be happy hunting for Jenson Button in the slippery conditions. But P3 on the grid then. Hopefully, we can challenge the Williams into turn 1.
We come to you live today from the Mie Prefecture in the south of Japan's Honshu Island for a race that has seen many title deciders over the years. Some simple, some controversial, but all contributing to a legacy that makes the Japanese Grand Prix an indispensable stop in any Formula One season. We're southwest of the city of Nagoya today at the unique figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit. 3.6 miles and 18 corners make up a lap here, with average speeds approaching 136 miles per hour. DRS will be available, of course, into the potential passing opportunity at turn 1, although the best place for overtaking will be through 130R and into the final chicane. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us, Ant, and tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
Only 3 races left. You still have a chance at the title, but we're going to need some special performances. See what you can do.
Well, here we are then, ready down on the grid for the Japanese GP. No grid penalties for anybody here, but interesting there, Anthony Davidson talking about the colder conditions, of course, before he gets into his car. So only time will tell as to how he gets on this afternoon. I could go for the alternate strategy again, but I'm not really sure I want to risk it here today. We could get a safety car. Something like that is not uncommon here at Suzuka as well then. But Frentzen alongside us, 5 red lights up on the grid. Oh, it's a mighty long hole, but it is going to be lights out. And away we go there. Villeneuve immediately will try and cover off his teammate. We've not had a particularly good getaway. Jenson Button and Michael Schumacher having a look through in towards someone there as we just run a little bit wide. Well, through those first couple of corners, we're still wheel to wheel with Wirtz in the other Renault. So you can already see Frentzen there trying to make a move on that Villeneuve. We're having to get the elbows out with the second Renault car there. We do get a warning for contact, but yeah, luckily Frentzen hasn't quite been able to scamper off in the lead of the GP then off of the start there. But again, how many times have we seen it this year? Just unable to make progress up on lap 1. It's so annoying. But yeah, it just keeps happening inside this series at the moment there as Jenson Button got to try and find a way around him nice and quickly here. We've got to utilise these soft compound tyres as Michael Schumacher's actually on the hards. So our teammate, yeah, really trying to spice things up early on here, see what he can do. As you can already see, top 3 maybe just starting to break away just a little bit there. So we try and rotate the car through the exit spoon. Hopefully we're able to get a run on JB. So we make our way down in towards 130R. Of course, in the dry conditions, should be comfortably flat out. As we just start to gain in a little bit there. Didn't know if he was going to blend the throttle in that Renault, but apparently not. As to the inside, we'll go get it slowed down over the apex. And we are back into P4 then. Still not the ideal start, but it could have been worse. I'm already a little bit worried then early on in this race. We are not taking any time out of Michael Schumacher, who is on the hard tyre. We're still pulling away from Jenson Button, which I guess is good news. But yeah, Michael's pulling away from me. Frentzen's pulling away from Michael as well. So just starting to get a little bit worried here that Williams have got a bit more pace. And that would be really bad. You kind of forget, especially back in the day, just how power-orientated Suzuka was as a track. Nowadays, of course, it's a real test of downforce, but yeah, back in the day, of course, these huge straights, you can really gain a lot of time. Villeneuve and Frentzen just swapping fastest laps at the front of the order. Myself and Michael Schumacher just trying to keep up with them as best as we can. Don't know how many times I've said it, though, this series, but our big problem, as always, just seems to be straight line speed. I know it was an issue back in the base game of F1 2020 anyway, but yeah, we're going to have to take a load of downforce out of the car when we pit and just pray that we can hang on through the corners. We do take a bit of time out of Michael through the S's, but nowhere near as much as we're losing. Well, this is the other issue I've got. We need to pit at some point to try and obviously change the front wing angle, and obviously we don't want to take these softs too deep into the Grand Prix either. But the problem is I don't know how much traffic we come out into, and then how do we kind of get through that traffic? We're able to get a run on Jenson Button quite easily, but there are some faster cars a little bit further back. I think at some point though we're just going to have to take the gamble here. If we can't do anything then obviously we're just going to be in big trouble in the World Championship. Kind of starting to feel like we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. Well, I guess if we want to have a look at one positive then from this GP, it's that normally the tyre delta isn't actually that much at all inside this mod. The soft, medium, and the hard can often feel pretty similar. I was going to dive in at the end of this lap, but we're on for a PB at the moment, so I want to just lock that time on the board. Won't be anywhere near close to what those Williams were able to achieve, but a 130.4 is not bad going. We're still just losing 2 or 3 tenths a lap to Michael, and we even brought a big upgrade this weekend on the engine, and it just is not making a difference. Well, there you go. Our engineer's just radioed over me, telling that Villeneuve has got some kind of issues in that car, so maybe Frentzen now is going to get to move up into the lead of the Grand Prix then at the end of lap 9. Oh, we are going to dive into the pit lane there, rear locking on the way in, but luckily we will just about slow it down, as we will take a few clicks off of that front wing. 2.5 second pit stop though is pretty good going, as we'll let the Saubers by. Anthony Davidson, Mark Genet as well, I'm sure will probably sneak through. So yeah, I've taken a lot off of that front wing, so through the S's first time round is going to be interesting. We're going to come out behind Zolt Baumgartner, but luckily, yeah, comfortably ahead of your backmarker cars. Let's see how this thing sits through the S's first time round. Hopefully we're still going to have decent grip. It feels alright. Oh, there we go. Zolt Baumgartner into the pit lane, not long after myself, so at least that gets one car out of the way quite nicely. Woo! 13th place in this Grand Prix at the moment. Hoping, yeah, we've definitely got a little bit more straight line speed now. It's just how far back behind Michael when he pits we're going to be. It's going to be the big question. Let's not forget, I've only finished off the podium once this year, and that was back in Australia. I do not want my second non-trophy of the weekend. Oh, there we go. A few more cars slowly trickling into the pit lane now. Anthony Davidson, next one in. So strategy here seems to be really, really odd at the moment. Kind of what different people are going with. We did set a new personal best that lap, despite it not being my greatest lap in the world. So let's just keep pushing on. Oh, there we go. Danica Patrick next up then. And Jensen Button. So at least, yeah, we should not have got undercut by Jensen. Sorry, overcut by Jensen in this Grand Prix. There we go. Finally dipping into the 129s. That's a bit more of a representative lap time than we need to be aiming for here. I mean, the Williams, pretty certain almost down into the 1 minute 28s now. But definitely that front wing alteration has helped us out. I've got to remember that. Just be more confident with the lack of front wing on the setup. Well, on this game, it really does seem to suit this Ferrari car pretty nicely. As soon as I'm talking about that, though, of course, massive understeer through the first Degner. We've just got to try and find a way around these Jaguars nice and quickly here. Started to overdrive the car a little bit. Fisichella doing alright still up in P12. So he's still yet to see Toyota score a point since they bought out the Arrows team inside this series then. But can we get a run on Mark Webber to make our way down this back straight then in towards 130R? We've got to try and gain on him, but sensibly time the run. But when we get through 130R, I mean, look how much steering lock we had to run. Just try and make sure that we get it rotated through. But again, just like the move we made on Button at the start, get to the inside, send it through the first part of the apex, and up then into 9th place. 8th place because of Trulli, 7th because of Wurtz. That's okay. Ooh, we've got yellows out. Oh no, Michael! I think that's got to be Michael Schumacher out of the Grand Prix as Villeneuve. Another new fastest lap of the day, and where was our teammate then? Obviously had that mechanical failure back in Austria. And our first retirement of the day, Michael Schumacher. That is not what we needed here at Suzuka. I mean, that, I think, is probably our Constructors' Championship hopes gone in that moment then. But poor old Michael Schumacher, it really has been a year to forget. Well, that does massively help us out in terms of the Drivers' Championship, because I'm not convinced we would have pace over Michael Schumacher today. Had he not had that retirement. I was interested, though, to see whether we'd taken anything out of him on the undercut strategy there, but trying to get a run out of the final corner then on Rubens Barrichello here. As you can see a few more cars into the pit lane. Can we get close enough in towards turn 1? No, we can't there, both of us. Whoa, we're up at VMAX there as well. Barrichello, definitely not the confidence in that Jaguar. And it's a good job this is 2002 and not 2001, because that probably would have been us out of the GP. Oh, finally, Barrichello is going to jump out of the way then. So does Marc Genet. So we're back up to P3 then of this GP with 10 laps to go. The thing that's really annoyed me though, obviously because of Villeneuve's slight mechanical gremlins earlier on, it's meant Frentzen now up into the lead of the GP, and I don't think he's going to relinquish it. Villeneuve is running faster, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. Well, I tell you what, no idea what Williams have done to that car this weekend, because that thing is in a completely different league against our own car there. How we can go from Singapore, where we look so fast and so competitive against Williams, you know, sometimes being kind of 3, 4, half a second a lap faster than those cars. Do we come here to Suzuka? It's probably a better all-rounder circuit for Formula 1 machinery, and they're upwards of 2 seconds a lap faster. I mean, Schumacher was trying his best to keep up with them. He was still losing over a second a lap, but Villeneuve's almost into the 127s, and we're still in the 129s. We're going to need some kind of miracle between now and the end of the year, because at the moment, it's just looking impossible. Well, as Williams then start the last lap of the Japanese Grand Prix, I'll be honest, I'm starting to wonder whether it's been as much of their car being rapid as this Ferrari just being a bit terrible here. Jenson Button's actually been going quicker than me throughout the second half of the Grand Prix, and I'm still pushing, trying to set new personal bests and things like that. But yeah, Button's actually taken a good sort of 2-3 seconds out of me since he pit later on here, so I think it's been a combination of Williams absolutely nailing their car this weekend, but also us down at Ferrari absolutely not. And you know, it just is a reminder as well as we head towards 2003 that there are going to be more and more threats coming from other teams as well there, but very, very overcast here at Suzuka as well. And I'm trying not to sound like a secondary school English teacher, maybe the skies above a metaphor for our championship hopes right now. Things are not looking great. 2 rounds left to go of the season, and Frentzen is about to open up, I believe, a 35-point lead at the top of the table. We are going to need a miracle as we head to Texas next weekend there. But through the final couple of corners, Frentzen, you cannot knock him. He is going to take yet another victory this season. He will win here in Japan. Villeneuve a little bit unlucky with some mechanical gremlins, ultimately cost him a shot of victory, but Williams orchestrated that very, very well at the front of the order. 30 seconds clear come the end of the afternoon for Frentzen. That is a ridiculous winning margin. One hand firmly on that World Championship trophy. For us, it is P3.
That's it then for another fantastic Grand Prix here in Japan. A brilliant victory that has thoroughly earned the applause from the sellout crowd here today. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
Well, there we are then. Heinzal Frentzen, like we said, one hand on that World Championship trophy now. He takes victory here in Japan ahead of Zach Villeneuve and myself there. Both Renaults P4 and P5 though. Very, very good race by them. Beating out David Coulthard, Jarno Trulli, Danica Patrick, Mark Genet and Anthony Davidson. What has happened to BAR later on this year? They were the absolute kind of best of the rest so long this season, and now suddenly, yeah, they're barely scraping points on a good weekend as well there. Only Michael Schumacher, though, who failed to see the checkered flag. What does that do to our championship? Well, like I said, that means Frentzen now has a 34-point lead at the top of the table. So we need to win next weekend and hope that he finishes P3 or worse to keep the World Championship alive as we head towards Brazil. It is now officially a two-horse race, though, between myself and Frentzen, with just 2 Grand Prix to go. Any other movers down in the drivers' table? It looks like Wirtz jumps Baumgartner for P13 overall. Constructors-wise, Williams now, yeah, again, pretty much now have guaranteed that they are going to be Constructors' World Champions, as Sauber jumped both McLaren and BAR. Renault jumped Jaguar, though, and could actually get to BAR by the end of the season as well, if they can continue on that good form. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the US Grand Prix.